Hey, good morning. We are in Rutherglen.
We get about, don't we?
We do get about, and a bit of an adventure because the train stopped at a station we weren't expecting, but we're here. And the first thing when you come out of the station is this really interesting mural. Just look at that. And the steeple stands where it always stood where Wallace was betrayed. I didn't know he was betrayed in Rutherglen. All-female football team, 1920 to 1928. Were victorious against an all-male team from Rutherglen Police Station. At that time, women's football was banned by the SFA. Rutherglen. And it means the Red Valley. It was a delightful bit of unexpected culture just as you get off the train. This Rutherglen High Street. That, I think, is the town hall with a Union Jack flying from it, unfortunately.
Happiest to you, still having a break. We're just having a breakfast. Rushed out of Glasgow Central Station to get here. We're in Rutherglen. This is the main street. Town hall's just up there. Yeah, over the way. There's some Scottish Socialists, so we're going to talk to them in a wee while. And up there are Glasgow pensioners for Indy. They're just getting their gazebo together, so we're keeping out of the way. Morning, folks.
There we go. Independence is normal. Heading over to the SSP stand.
How are you feeling then about this by-election?
Well, we've been here in Rutherglen for the past 6 weeks or so. We'll be campaigning for a £15 minimum wage for all workers over 60 for the abolition of 0 hours contracts. For bringing, for example, those buses there into fully in the public ownership, delivering free public transport for everyone in Scotland, and for abolishing the 2-child limit, for abolishing the bedroom tax, for bringing energy into democratic public ownership to fight fuel poverty here in Scotland, and also for an independent socialist Scotland as well, for a country in which the wealth of this country is used to improve the lives of working class people, not enrich the billionaires and the billionaires.
Yeah. So the only word you haven't mentioned in that is republic.
Republic. An independent socialist Scotland and a modern democratic republic.
I'm thinking it's a wee while back, but SSP had MSPs in Holyrood at one point.
We did. We had a figure 6 following the Iraq War.
Yeah.
The part of the campaign up as a tweak of that war.
Yeah.
Our part of the campaign up as a shoot to unjustified wars now as well. Instead of funding farms and nuclear weapons, we should be funding the NHS, public services, and publicly on national care service.
Yeah.
There's absolutely nothing in what you've just said that I would disagree with at all. Do you think that the Scottish Labour Party is anywhere close to your position on most of these things?
No, the Labour leadership here, Starmer, is himself did a party of business, party of big business, the party of the masses. When what we need is party of the worker. Labour and Tories are two branches of the one party. One party has two different management teams competing to stay in charge. And I don't think that a Keir Starmer-led government would make any change in law.
Those policies that you sort of had just told us about, they're not all an overlap with the SNP, but there's a lot of overlap with the SNP with them. So is it a good idea to stand a candidate here when, it's certainly a bit of the main tussles between Labour and SNP at the moment?
Well, it's important to start that candidate for a working class political party. One of the key pledges that the SSP makes is that any elected representative we have will only take home the equivalent of a worker's wage. Another SNP MP on £90,000 a year to join the establishment down at Westminster. I don't think that's moving independence forward. I don't think that's moving the cause of working mass people forward. And I would say about the SNP, well, we have to look at their record in the Scottish government's indication of where they stand. 12,000 uplifts for care workers next April. It's not nearly enough. It's not enough now, and certainly not going to be enough next April. That's why we're campaigning for a £15 minimum wage for all workers over 16, including care workers, that rises with inflation or matches the cost of living every year, and not just inadequate uplifts that are already behind people needs.
And I notice you're saying everyone over 16, whereas because some of the wage levels that are on the younger folk
really discriminatory age adding is just pure exploitation. Younger workers do the same work, probably workers in the Gregs behind you that are on a lower age band, but they're doing the same work as you, the colleagues next to them, but they're paid less just because they're younger. And that's
it's a funny way of thinking, isn't it?
Yeah, everyone's living costs are going up, wages are going up.
Yeah.
And the younger workers are among the most exploited in that system. They're also more likely to be on 0 hours contracts.
Yeah.
And have precarious employment conditions that adds to that on top. I think it's the way we talk about poverty sometimes doesn't reflect the fact that the majority of people in Scotland who are in poverty are in households that are employed.
Yes.
It's in-work poverty that represents the majority of poverty in Scotland.
Yeah.
What we've seen is a great movement of wealth from working class people into ruling class people.
Yeah.
People are already the wealthiest.
Yeah.
And what we have to do is reverse that.
Yeah.
So we have to put the wealth that working class people create, because it is working class people that create the wealth in society. So they should get the benefit of the wealth that's created. In fact, the wealth should be in working class now.
Yeah.
Improve the lives of working class people.
Yeah. They also spend their money locally. They don't stick it in a bank.
They also spend money. They also, if people have money to spend, there's economic activity. Money that's sitting in the Cayman Islands or supposed to buy a New York, exactly what I was going to say. That's not economic activity, right? That's not the basis of a stable and secure, prosperous economy.
Yeah. So, Chad, what about Bill Bonner? Is it your candidate?
Bill Bonner.
What's his background? What's his?
Well, Bill Bonner is a veteran local campaigner. He's a familiar face, I think, to anyone involved with the trade union movement here in Lanarkshire, Glasgow as well. And what Bill is standing for is real transformative change, because we can't get into this punch and judy politics where it's going to be the SNP or it's going to be Labour, it's going to be the SNP or it's going to be Labour. When in reality nothing changes. What we need is a working class movement, a working class politics, an independent working class movement.
Okay, I'm heading back to the pensioners for Indy's stall now that there's no danger of us having to do any work helping to put it up.
But this is the second time this week you've been here, is that right?
Yeah.
How's it going then?
I think it's quite mixed. There are still a lot of Labour supporters here, and then when you ask them what Labour are going to do, they just, I'm a Labour supporter, type of thing. And I say, well, they're not going to take you back into Europe, because I think that's one of the things that can really turn folk around. So sometimes that leads on to other conversations.
Yeah,
that's all you can do.
Yeah. Pretty much agree with that. Yeah. I just got into a bit of a battery down there with some of the Rutherglen who were kind of sitting there who told me there was no point in voting for anyone because they're all a load of shite.
They're all the same. But what about them? I really can't.
Hard to get faster.
But yeah, I would agree that there's a lot of apathy.
Yeah,
and that's because they don't see their voice being heard.
Well, I suppose that's it. Yeah.
No matter what I do, I mean, my brother thought that. It wouldn't matter what I do, and I still managed to drag him out to get the vote. But it does feel like that,
It's quite mad. It's really hard to work out how you could have even have got in, and they're sitting. The thing is, they're sitting right next Scottish Socialist Party stall. And the fun thing about the Scottish Socialist Party, I mean, it's women, it's women and men, working women and men that they've got that they're trying to help.
Yeah. So are the Socialist Party, are they wanting you to vote Labour, or have they got a party?
No, they've got their own. They've got a candidate. Yeah, they've got a candidate.
It's been on Twitter, the guy said both for us and both for the rich parties.
Yes, that's right. That's what the chat was saying.
What I hope then is that maybe they'll take some of the Labour vote away.
Yeah.
That would maybe, as I've said to people, well, you're not happy with the way the SNP are performing. I would say the same thing, but you just have to hold your nose and get on with it because there's nobody else to vote for.
I know. Yeah. I mean, and maybe the thing is just from the SNP point of view, because I mean, we're talking to you and you're here with Pensioners for Indy, and we know Pensioners for Indy is not party political. Right. Just independence, pro-independence. But I mean, the thing is to get people to come and vote, isn't it? Like the SNP, if they're just fed up, or they maybe think that Margaret Ferrier got a rough deal, they stay at home.
No, a lot of people, I think you talk about that. I've been talking over there, they always talk.
No,
and I think they realise that there's been many innovation. Yeah, there's many bad things going on doing it. I mean, or if not worse than what she did. Whether it's excusable or I really don't know. And I just think it was a difficult time for everybody, and we should accept that. I would get back to Rutherglen though. I would say that when you talk to the young people, you certainly get a positive response.
Well, that's interesting.
But any of the young folk who are actually very interested. And I mean, that goes along with the support on fairness being high in that age group. But yeah, you have to try and speak to the older ones as well and try and combat as best you can. But I find Brexit is the big one. That they don't. A lot of people don't like that. In fact, they've been taken out of the Euros.
So we're going to keep.
Good morning. How are you, Mary? How are you doing? Good. It's a nice little spot you've got here. Did you find it was quite busy last week, last time you were here?
Yeah, lots of people posting. Not as busy as a guy of shit.
No.
We had a New Zealanders who went on about we want independence too, and we said for the independence. He said we want to be a republic. They think.
There's a few of them chipping that away. Dominoes falling, aren't they?
I think here we get quite a lot of yes people. I don't know. You've got to kind of possibly differentiate the SNP vote from the yes vote. For pro independence party standing.
What do you think the impact of that's going to be? Do you think that's going to split the vote, or does that show that we've got a range?
The vote a bit, because there are quite a lot of people though. The SNP have been taking a lot of pelters from the unionist press all the time because they're up there, whereas the others of course forget that because they're not actually in government. I mean, we've got Scottish Socialist across the road.
Yeah, we've just been over to say hello to them as well.
I'm going over there myself.
Very articulate young man on the stall there. There's a lot that they say that I absolutely resonates with us. We've got the same values.
I might even vote for them if I thought they had a chance.
Yes, I'm 22.
A chance. Similarly with all the others. I mean, Alaba. Again, if I thought they had a chance, I would possibly vote for them.
Yeah, same with us, Scottish Independence Podcast. We're not party political, so anybody who's got an interest in independence, we're interested.
The only thing is I would never vote for a unionist party, ever.
No, never.
What's coming on radio?
Good Scottish weather. This is the view from inside the Pensioners for Indy gazebo. Hardy souls, they're all currying in.
We're a bit
Where we are, we're slightly wet. It was a Rutherglen downpour that we've survived there. We're going down this way.
Yes. You've just had a wee chat with someone from the ISP.
Yes, I did. Somebody been out leafleting for ISP, who of course are also standing in this by-election. He said he thought it was going well, and I don't know that they've got any expectation of winning the seat necessarily, but he did say it was about getting the awareness, I suppose, raised.
Yeah. So just for anyone who doesn't know, ISP is
the Independence for Scotland Party.
Yeah.
And he did say that ISP and Alpha have very similar perspectives, and of course Alpha aren't standing here, which led me to wonder. I kind of assumed when Alpha came on the scene that ISP might merge or get itself into it. If they are that close,
well, they did stand back, didn't they? They and Acid Party stood back for Holyrood to let Alba have a free go.
But why they think there's enough votes going that they can stand alone?
Kind of fair enough, isn't it? I mean, it's a part, and they've got their own ways of thinking about things, and they want to get that out there. So fair enough, isn't it?
It is fair enough. Right, we've located the SNP hub now. We're going to see if there's any signs of anybody in, or they might all be out leafleting, we don't know.
I see the Labour Party are saying Rutherglen's ready for a new start. What do you think?
Well, there's no evidence of any new start from Labour. It seems to be a continuation of Conservative policies, and including the name Conservative. They stand for the status quo, now so does Labour. So the only proposition that's going to benefit people here is Katie Loudon.
Yeah. Do you think you managed to persuade the Rutherglen folk?
Well, I think we're working very hard. We've got a lot of people out and getting, I know it's a bit of a cliche, a good response to the doorstep. So no, it's...
We had a bit of a, I wouldn't say it was a very positive response up on the high street, chatting to people, and an awful lot of folks saying, what folk are coming out with this now, why bother? why send it to anyone anywhere? They're all, out for themselves. I mean, there's an awful lot of that kind of apathy. It's hard to get through. I didn't know how to even start getting through to someone saying that to me.
I think in one sense people are under the cosh with the cost of living, but they also know that Westminster government routinely ignores Scotland, denies the right to a democratic referendum. It's a hard thing to overcome, and that can demotivate people, but that's down to us to make sure that we can motivate people to come out and say, Katie Loudon can make a change. She's already said she's going to take a private member's bill through in terms of a mortgage interest relief. So whatever their background, having an MP is going to work on your behalf is most important, and the one most likely to do that is Katie Loudon.
Hello there, Fiona and morning on Rutherglen Station.
Yep.
Having had quite an interesting morning, we've been dropping in on the various stalls and hubs that we found in Rutherglen. So we've been to the SSP stand, we've been to Pensioners for Indy who were there today, and we dropped in on the SNP hub as well. Keith Brown opened the door for us.
Yeah, that was nice.
Dave Dugan skirted past us, and Tommy Shepherd said hello to us because we said hello to him as if he would know who we are. Impressive that so many of the big guns were out there. Interestingly, all the people we spoke to thought that their message was being well received. Let's say that's true.
Yeah.
We didn't see any signs of the opposition at all. Didn't see any.
We didn't know at all. I had a chat with some folk who were, I think they were standing, they were sitting on the main street over waiting for a bus, and asked what they thought about the election, and I'm afraid they didn't think much of it. They were sort of, they said it was that sort of, what you look at, at least apathetic, but it was a bit more edgy than the rest.
It was quite angry at the session.
Angry and like, worried all they're voting, they're all the same, they just make out for themselves. And that's the kind of angry response that I'm afraid is, not kind of uncommon these days.
Oh, there's a train off. There's a train. Luckily not our train.
Our train, well, but ours may arrive any minute.
Yeah, ours.
Well, yeah, I mean, so, talking to this folk, well, they're voting are all the same, and it doesn't matter who they are, and then I just get really, well, it kind of makes me feel sad, actually. And yes, maybe it's that overall people have been having a hard time. I mean, it sounded like they weren't going to vote for anyway.
But when there's anger there, there's energy there.
Yeah.
And if we could inspire them that there was something in it for them, in fact, whoever managed to give them any glimpse that there was something in it for them, you might have somebody who would then turn up, would speak to other people, might even be quite, evangelistic because they cared deeply about something. It just wasn't what's currently on offer from any of the parties.
I think what strikes me about that, when people see it, you see it quite a lot on some social media channels as well, is that there's a loss of trust. And there's two sides to that story. I'm not saying it's completely, a ridiculous loss of trust. We know there's reasons for it, but it's something that politicians all around have got to really address. Otherwise, this is so much for their account values,
or relevance to people's lives. Yeah, really interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting. Anyway, it was an interesting one.
It was, and whatever happens in Rutherglen, it's going to have repercussions for Scotland.